Click, click, boom, biatch. We're back on the set. It's Testosterone Fantasy Sports, week number 10 edition. Don't forget to check out our fantastic website and the Fat Chat going down right after this show is over, testosteronesports.com. You cannot miss it. And the game you cannot miss this week, Yeasty, I teased you a little bit earlier, and now I'm going to please you, but not like that. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Talk a little bit about your Brownies, how they've brought it this season, and this matchup where they travel to their arch rivals in Pittsburgh.
Well, the difference between Browns fans and Vikings fans is that we're realistic because, our team actually disappeared for about 4 years. So just having a team makes us happy. I'm happy that the Browns are playing well. I'm not going to be unrealistic and think that they're actually going to go in and win in Pittsburgh. But Derek Anderson, Braylon Edwards, Kellen Winslow. Derek Anderson?
Nice.
Yeah.
91-point passer rating.
Play him against me this week, please. Play him against me. So Derek Anderson, Kellen Winslow, and Braylon Edwards, all must-starts every week, no matter who you're playing against. Jamal Lewis should ride your pine this week, though, against Pittsburgh.
Jamal Lewis had a big game last week, dropped 4 touchdowns. They were all of either 1 yard or 2 yards, so Derek Anderson owners definitely a little ticked about that. 4 different times Anderson passed it down inside the 3. Jamal got the goal line love. Probably not going to happen here in this game. Pittsburgh brings the running D, but Pittsburgh, Jeff, a team you've been high on since the beginning of the season, they've also been bringing the spread too.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about them is they've been passing the ball first. Their defense is the best defense overall in the league right now, and I think that that's going to play a major role. On the offensive side of the ball, they've been throwing the ball well, but Willie Parker, number 2 in the NFL in rushing yards, behind Adrian Peterson, and behind him by a whopping 238 yards, which is just one game for our boy Adrian. So Adrian blowing the field away, and this show religiously goes back on a regular basis to Adrian. So can I mention Adrian Peterson again any more?
You did.
How awesome he is. Willie Parker's going to get things going well this weekend. I like the Steelers to win this game. They're going to put up a lot of points, and I think that having any of the Steelers' homes, Hines Ward makes a good play, especially if you've got a Randy Moss on bye or something like that. So roll with the Steelers. They're going to do well.
Yeah, the Steelers are going to play well at home. They looked fantastic on Monday night. Ben Roethlisberger, 5 touchdown passes in the first half, which tied a Steelers record, I believe. There at halftime, there was a bunch of Steeler greats there, and it certainly feels like he, with that already won Super Bowl ring on his finger, is the next great Steelers quarterback, really kind of coming to the forefront. But the guy I want to talk about here is Derek Anderson. I got him going this week against Yeasty, who's the biggest Browns fan I've ever known. I'm going with the Yeasty curse. Yeasty, what's it feel like to have your own favorite team starting quarterback be thrown against you in a must-win game against Royal Flush?
Even if he does well, it's still not going to be enough for you to beat me. So he could put up 40, and I'm still going to smack you by about 20 points.
Well, this last week you would have beat me by 3 yards, 0.3 of a point.
So a win's a win, my friend.
Both of these two guys in the 120-point range, which is fantastic in fantasy football, especially in the toughest league around. One thing that I would like to ask you about, Yeasty, is here in the land of purple, we wear the purple shaded glasses. Derek Anderson is a restricted free agent at the end of this season, and we around here innovated, thanks to Rob Brzezinski, the poison pill. How do you think your squad would reply to a contract from the Vikings signed by Derek Anderson involving a stipulation that says DA has to be the highest paid quarterback on the team? The team's already invested highly in Brady Quinn. What do you think that would do to your team if number 3 came to play for the purple?
The purple
I think that it's going to be kind of the Drew Brees treatment, the way that it's going. They didn't invest that much in Brady Quinn not to turn it over to him at some point. So it sucks for me watching Derek Anderson play so well because he was there last year. I wanted the Browns to take AP at number 3. Joe Thomas has definitely done a great job. But to think about Derek Anderson, AP, Edwards, and Winslow.
Well, we put our heads together. We have a formula for that. There's an unrestricted free agent out there at wide receiver. His name is Andre Johnson. He's about to come back in full effect after this weekend's bye game and get his dollars back up. The Vikings have money. I would love nothing more than to see Derek Anderson chucking the ball down deep to big Andre Johnson and bringing us a Super Bowl. Okay, now I'm awake from my dream there.
Jeff needs to go see a doctor because he has a 4-hour boner right now from thinking about that. If you've watched any of the commercials out there, when that happens, Jeff, consult a physician. No, I was at the Chinese food place today, Yeasty, and I pulled out my fortune cookie, and it said, people will find it difficult to resist your proposition. So I thought right here on the show, I'd give you a chance, man, to make a deal right here for Derek Anderson, the number 3 rated quarterback in fantasy. He's actually done better than the guy you have starting for quarterback. Who's
Peyton Manning?
Yeah, Derek Anderson for Peyton Manning. What do you think?
No.
People will find it difficult to resist my propositions.
I'm just stupid.
All right, we're going to move on to the next matchup, Jacksonville at Tennessee. Tennessee, a team that just keeps on winning every week. Really no substantial fantasy plays on a weekly basis. How are they doing it like this, Jeff? And is there anybody you can start here against Jacksonville's D?
Well, I really think this is going to be a very low-scoring game. Both these defenses are fantastic. In fact, Tennessee's still leading the league in rush defense. So you're not going to be able to get much out of Maurice Jones-Drew or Fred Taylor. Likewise, Lindell White dealing with a toe injury right now. So keep your eyes on that because Lindell, 3 weeks in a row, over 100 yards. Doing it at like a 2.9 yard per carry average, but he gets the tough yards, and he's going to stay healthy most of the time because he's got a real nice layer of Chubb around him to protect his joints.
I don't like Lindell White at all in this matchup. I've got him in our tough league. I'm not going to play him against Jesse. I think there are better options out there. I look for the Titans to put up 13 points at the most, probably a tight end touchdown from Vince Young inside the 10 or so.
So we move on. That game's pretty ugly for fantasy owners. We'll move to another game that has a potential for some points. St. Louis traveling to New Orleans to face the resurgent Saints, a team that started out the season looking very lost on offense, lost their first 4 games. Now they're back in a rhythm. They've won 4 games in a row. Drew Brees starting to heat up, and you've got to love him here, Jeff, against St. Louis, who can't stop anybody.
Yeah, St. Louis is a horrible defense, and New Orleans going to get going like crazy. St. Louis, I think coming off the bye, you've been getting killed by their offensive players. They welcome back Steven Jackson. If you're going to get paid by this team, play them this weekend. They're going to help you in a big way.
I like all the Saints. I like Reggie Bush, especially in point per reception leagues, even though he sat out practice yesterday with a knee. You got to start Breeze. You got to start Colston. If for some reason David Patton is still out there on the waiver wire and you need a bye week fill-in, he's played pretty well over the last few weeks as well. And you got to start all the Rams too, including Isaac Bruce, who when he's been in and Bolger's been throwing to him has actually put up some pretty decent numbers.
I agree with you guys. Lots of fantasy points to go around in that game. Moving on to the next one, Buffalo at Miami. Miami coming off of the bye. Have they had a chance to kind of regroup, guys? They have their second-string quarterback, now Jesse Chapman, their second-string runner. They're playing at home against Buffalo, a team that, doesn't really bring too much. Is this a game Miami can at least be competitive in?
Yeah, on the road, Buffalo's a different team than they are at home. So, I look for Buffalo to give up some points and give up some yardage. If you need a big fill-in, Ted Ginn Jr. could pop, Marty Booker could pop, because they are vulnerable through the air. Hey, that's bye-week fill-ins, bro. It's bye-week fill-ins.
Marshawn Lynch are the only plays in my book in this game.
Yeah. Maybe Losman, if you are in an absolute pinch, he knows how to chuck it deep to Evans, and Evans is turning it on. He's one of those players that you see get it going, and then like 4 or 5 weeks, he's great, and then he kind of falls apart again.
Yeah, he typically likes to pop at the end of the season. Well, here we are, the end of the season, and he's been producing in a nice manner. 165 yards and a touchdown last weekend. He can get deep, and he's young and pretty durable. So
unlike you, he can get deep. And also another guy that can get deep is the Bills' defense. So if you get special teams points, the Bills' defense will make a good bye week fill-in as well.
Hey, that's good to hear because I picked them up in one league.
Attaboy.
All right.
Denver traveling to one of the most difficult places to play. Of course, I'm talking about Arrowhead Stadium to face the Kansas City Chiefs. One of the biggest stories of the NFL week. It's the return of our homie Priest Holmes.
He's back
in uniform.
And we have a jersey here. Where'd this come from?
That was supposed to be a Dwayne Bowe that they sent me from Korea. It's Priest Holmes. So
dust off the mothballs on that thing, man.
It's nice to see that the biggest priest in the news isn't the guy that's stalking Conan O'Brien. It's actually going to be Priest Holmes. So, I hope that Priest comes back and plays pretty well. Colby Smith actually is going to split carries with him. If Priest, gets paralyzed or something, Colby Smith will be the guy.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing. Actually, priests are making a step up if they're stalking grown men.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's not Conan O'Brien's 10-year-old boy.
He's still playing with. He's just a priest playing with a ball, though.
Don't
right?
Yeah, there you go.
Don't expect much out of Priest Holmes at 32 years old and
think he's
the
34.
neck of a 78-year-old man. I'm really concerned. I'll be praying for him, and I hope that he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, I like Priest Holmes, actually. I think that every once in a while there's one of those stories that comes along that happens, and it's like for just a moment a player can return to his former glory. You know, it might not be elongated, but I do think that against Denver's weak run D, I wouldn't be surprised to see Priest Holmes get a goal line carry or two in this game just to pump up the crowd there in Arrowhead Stadium and kind of get the juices flowing a little bit. I'm not expecting a 100-yard game from him, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Priest get 7 or 8 touches in this game, maybe even 10 or 12, possibly could score just to get the crowd going crazy. But the real story here to me in this game is Denver and their absolute collapse of late, Easty. What's going on in Mile High?
Well, Jay Cutler got hurt and the wheels just fell off after that. Travis Henry, ever since everything's come out about this whole suspension thing, has been absolutely nothing. Brandon Marshall and Brandon Stokely have played well, you know, as far as racking up some garbage yards and receptions, but overall as a team, they've just been in the tank.
It seems like they don't really know what to do with themselves. They're not used to being in this situation.
No identity.
The last time they had a losing season was the year after John Elway retired. They finished 6-10. They're headed in that direction now. To me, it seems like Jay Cutler has not stepped forward and been able to become the leader of that team. So I just think there's no good team really in this division. No team seems to step forward to want to win. At 4-4 or whatever it is, 4-5. The Chiefs are still tied with the Chargers, and it's just like, what's going to happen?
All 4 teams in this division lost last week, so it was a chance for one of those squads to step forward and make a statement. The AFC West, the division we thought would be very, very contested at the beginning of the season. It is contested, but it's kind of contested for all the wrong reasons.
It's contested by default. You know, somebody's got to win. So
Priest is going to get one moment in time. Snap!
Well, let's not wish that upon him. But
not.
We thank you for joining us. Go on to our website, testosteronesports.com, right after the show. The Fat Chat is going down. We want to talk to you about all of your matchup-related questions, talk about all things fantasy football, testosteronesports.com. We're going to take a brief break, and we will be back right after this.